All right.
All right.
Okay.
We'll keep on rocking. So when people are surprised, they also are delighted. And if you can delight people with your subject line, then they're almost sure to open your email and read the rest of it, right? Again, it's important that the body of your email actually matches up to the subject line, because you don't want your readers to feel like you tricked them, okay? Then there's personalization that you can throw in there. So we all love to hear our own names. In fact, there's a hugely popular book. It's called How to Win Friends and Influence People. Dale Carnegie. I'm sure you guys have heard that. Some of you guys have. And he says that there's nothing sweeter to a person than actually hearing their own name. And you can use this to your advantage in your email subject lines, because there's a recent study on subject lines, and it actually found that including a person's name increased the open rate by a whopping like almost 15%, it's like 14.68%. Okay, it's huge. So some examples of personal subject lines, like if your name was Tim, it would be Tim, The Rock can teach you this about protein powders. Or John, most people get this exercise wrong. Or I don't understand why this keeps happening, Mary. Or have you ever had this happen to you, Melissa? So that's some examples of that. And it's hard for a person to ignore something with their name on it. And when you use a person's name in the subject line and the rest of the email too, then you compel them to actually open the email and read it, because then they don't think it's like a spam email that's just blasted out. It's generic, okay? In addition to using the previous subject line formulas, I want you to consider using these important email copywriting tactics. We're going to dive into some of those. Any questions on headlines so far? You guys all good? You guys all golden? Thumbs up. Amazing. So use your name in the from section. Okay, when setting up the from section of your email, and this is like if you have an email autoresponder like FitPro Solutions, something like that, you want to create the from and put your name in there. And be sure to use your name and not just the name of your company. Okay, you don't want your email to look like it's just coming from a company. Okay, you want it to look like it's coming from a person who actually cares about the recipient. And yeah, it's fine to include, your company in the from section, but do it in combination with your name. So for example, your from section should be like, John at company X or Tarek at FTI Institute, right? Using your name also adds authenticity to the email, and it shows that there's a real person behind the email. Then you can also A/B test your subject lines, okay? A/B testing is simply testing one subject line against another. If you have a CRM, you can do this easy. If not, don't worry about it. If you're just doing it from your Gmail, whatever, you can't really split test. But you want to see which one gets the best results. Okay, when you really get into email copywriting, you can do this, and you'll be able to see that one email has an open rate of 40% and one's at 20%, and that's all from the subject line. Okay, so when sending out an email, you can A/B test the subject lines against each other. Most email clients make it really simple to A/B test. Typically, you just enter in 2 subject lines, and the email client will send out the email to a portion of your subscribers, okay? Once a winner has been determined, then that email will be sent to the rest of your subscribers. Do any of you guys have a CRM or email autoresponder, or are you all just doing everything manually currently? Cindy, so you have an email autoresponder? Perfect. Awesome. Good. That will really, really help you out. So pay attention to your preview text, which is next, okay? In addition to your subject line, it's also essential that you pay attention to the preview text of your email. In the preview text, it usually shows up next to the subject line in the email, okay? If you don't manually enter a preview text, what it does is it just shows like the first line of the email. So your preview text should also be created using one of those tactics above, and should give people an additional reason to open your email. So for example, if you ask a question in the subject line, you can ask a follow-up question in the preview text, or you can create a curiosity gap in the subject line, and you can write like, "You won't believe the answer," and then have it in the preview text, if that makes sense, okay? So once you've crafted an extremely compelling subject line, it's time to write the body copy for your email. And in some ways, the body copy, it also has to do what the subject line does, and that's keep people reading, okay? Each line of the copy should motivate people just to read that next line. That's the whole goal. That's all you want them to do. And if your body copy is boring, then people aren't going to make it past the first line. They're going to delete, right? They're quickly going to delete your email and all the work will be wasted. So how do you write compelling body copy? Let's go over some quick tactics for it. Number one, get to the point quickly. So from the outset, it should be very clear to readers why you're emailing them, okay? After all, they probably get hundreds of emails every single week. I mean, I get over 100 a day. I'm sure some of you guys do too, right? Why should they bother reading your email? Okay. Avoid making the reader scroll through a lot of text in order to figure out why you're even emailing them. So get to the point quickly. And if you want your email to be read, it must be absolutely relevant to them. That's why you want to be able to do this, right? Have avatars and so forth. So why should they read your email? Okay. Are you releasing an important new product? Do they need to update some information? Are you running a sale or a promotion? Are you opening up some new, consulting slots? Are you making an important change to your existing program or product? Okay. One way to make your emails relevant to your readers is to begin by asking them a question. So for example, if you're an online fitness coach, you can open your email by saying, what if I told you that you could double your energy over the next 7 days? That would be something where they'd be like, man, I want to learn like a little bit more about this. Then you can move in some of the rest of your email where you announce that you're opening up new consulting slots or strategy call slots, whatever it is. Okay. And then talk in the second person. So write in the second person, use the pronouns like you, your, yours. And doing this makes the copy about the reader and not about you. Remember, it's not about you, it's about them. Okay. If you find yourself that you're like using the words I or we a lot, then there's a good chance you're talking too much about yourself in the email. So you want the email to focus on them and not you. So talk about the benefits and not just the features. So you know why you're sending the email, but does your reader actually understand why? Okay, not off the bat, you need to give the reader a compelling reason to read your email and to take action, okay? The problem with many emails is that they only focus on features, not benefits. In other words, they make an announcement or a proclamation, but they don't tell the reader how that announcement is going to benefit them. Okay, so for example, let's just say you're offering 30% off your, personal training program or your service. You could simply tell the reader that you're offering a discount and that they should take advantage of it. But this doesn't do much to convince the reader to take action. Or you can tell the reader the benefits of your discount. So what benefits will they get by purchasing from you? How will it improve their lives? Why should someone invest their money with you and not with someone else? So hopefully that makes sense. That's also like in the sales calls. It's going to be very similar, some of the things. So your goal is to paint a picture of the good life for that reader, like what they really want to be able to accomplish, the benefits that they will get. And you want them to feel like they would be stupid or they would be foolish not to take advantage of what you're offering. Okay. Show them how much purchasing from you is going to make a difference in their lives. Okay. And then the next thing is to be brief. Okay. Let's be honest. Nobody likes emails that are super long, right? If you see a super long email, I know what I do. What do you guys do? Delete, right? You're like, or you'll just like leave it in the inbox. I'll get to that when I have time. People like to basically scroll and find the important things. So if a long email appears in our inbox, we almost delete it because it's too overwhelming to read. And this is especially the case if we're reading on a mobile phone too, right? You're getting coffee and you're online and you're reading your emails and it's like, that's too long. You just literally either delete it or you scroll through. Okay. Long emails take way too much time to process. So try to keep your business and your marketing emails relatively brief. And ideally, you should be able to quickly summarize your main points and then let the reader, they can click to like a web page where they can get the full information, okay, or a landing page. And before you write an email, I want you to ask yourself 3 things. What is the point of this email? what action do I want the reader to take? And number 3, what will make this email a success? Okay. If you find yourself sending an email that's hundreds of words long, you probably haven't sufficiently answered those 3 questions. So keep your emails direct and to the point. Then you got to delight your readers. Most emails are incredibly boring, right? They're purely informational, and most of the information is very dry, right? Doesn't have much personality to it. So if you can convey your message and you can delight your readers at the same time, make them smile, make them laugh, there's a much better chance that you're going to be able to get them to actually take an action. Email can be a great way to let your brand personality shine through and build a relationship with your readers. So how can you actually do this? How can you delight your readers? Well, you can share a compelling story. You can use GIFs or GIFs, whatever you call them, right? And photos, which also serve to kind of break up the text and they catch the eye, they stop the scrolling. You can use humor. Like I said, you can make them laugh, or you can reference current events. You can make fun of yourself in an appropriate way, right? And then you can admit also when you made a mistake. Those are all some key things. You want to add a sense of humanness to your emails, and you want to let people to know that there's a real person that's sending the emails, not just a nameless face at a company, right? Then have a compelling call to action. I've said this many times. Almost every email, doesn't have to be every email, but should have some kind of CTA or a call to action. And if your email doesn't have a CTA, then you should ask yourself, why are you even sending it in the first place? After all, your goal should be to get the reader to do something, to take an action. And in your CTA, you can use actionable language. So in other words, tell your reader exactly what you want them to do. So for example, if you're promoting a deal, you would use language like view the deal or get in on this deal here. And then also make your CTAs very obvious. Make it clear what you want the reader to do and don't leave them guessing. Okay, if you want them to click a link or a button, make it big and make it obvious. And if you want them to reply to an email, then you can ask them specifically to reply. Okay, if you want them to share something with their friends, tell them to share. And then you can spend the necessary time just crafting a compelling CTA, call to action. Okay, this, after all, is the point of your entire email, to get the reader to do something. Okay, next, you got to optimize your emails for mobile. Okay, somewhere around 60% of all emails are read on mobile devices. And this means your emails need to be easily readable on mobile. So how can you assure that they are? Well, you can use a slightly bigger font size, right? I don't know if you guys have ever seen a font like this 9 font and then you read it on your mobile, you can't even read it. Like maybe because I'm blind, I just like delete the email. So use a bigger font size, and this simply makes the text easier to see on small mobile screens, okay? Use lots of page breaks and white space, okay? Huge chunks of text. Like if you guys ever have seen an email where it's just like one big paragraph, I can't even read it. Same thing with social media posts. Use breaks after every main point, right? It makes it so hard to read on mobile devices. And then break up your text as much as possible so that it's just easy to skim, okay? Every sentence if you want. If possible, you can test your emails on different type of devices. So for example, you can evaluate the look of your emails on Apple versus Android. And then you can also, test them on tablets if you want. And you want to ensure that no matter what device is used, your email is going to look really good. Okay, step number 4 is personalizing your emails. So we already discussed about the power of personalizing the subject line of your emails, but now you can go so much further in terms of personalizing the emails themselves. Because the more that you personalize the emails, the more likely it is that your readers are going to respond to them. And that's the whole goal, right? So what are some effective ways to personalize the emails? Let's go over these. Use the person's name, okay, throughout the body of your email, not just the subject line. Okay, you can use it at least once or twice, like once in the subject line and once in the body. That's fine. Okay. Obviously, you don't want to overdo it when you're using a person's name, but by including it multiple times throughout the email, you make it sound as though you're kind of talking directly to a person rather than a large email list. You want them to feel like they're being spoken to. Okay. Be conversational. So as much as possible, make your emails conversational, and avoid talking in like stiff industry jargon. Okay, you don't want it to be like hypertrophy this and all this stuff that they don't normally use. Okay, that's something where they will delete the email. So talk as though you were talking to a friend. And if you're promoting something, promote it in a friendly way rather than making it like overly salesy as well. So think about it. If you were recommending a product or a service or one of your programs to a good friend, rather than trying to make a sale to a complete stranger, okay? Focus on them, the reader. And this was noted earlier, but it's definitely worth repeating because the focus of your email should always be the reader and not you, okay? Don't tell your readers all about what you're doing. Rather focus on how you can bring value to them. Same thing with social media. Explain to them why your offer is so valuable, and then segment your list. So instead of sending every single email to every single member of your list, you should consider sending different offers to different segments of different way of, at least have like new leads. Your current clients are going to get different type of emails. Your former clients are going to get like reactivation emails. So, segment, you can segment down upon, if you have different things that they opt in for, like if they have certain lead magnets, you can do that. And why do you do this? Because not every email is going to resonate with every member of your list. Okay. You can also segment your list based on demonstrated behaviors. Okay. So for example, those who have opened your emails in the last month, you can see this in a CRM. This ensures that your offers are only going to go to your hottest prospects. Okay. Or you can only send emails to those who have clicked on a particular link, or by clicking on a link, they demonstrate, interest in a particular subject that you have. You can also segment your list by someone's purchase history. So if they've purchased a particular item, if you have an ebook, if you have a course, if you have a, like a front-end offer, a program, from you, then you can send them emails about any type of related items or any type of other services that you have. And you can even segment by a lead magnet, like I was saying. So for example, let's say you have 2 different lead magnets, and a lead magnet is like, ebook, something that they opt in for, one about losing weight and the other about healthy eating. Okay. You can send weight loss related content to those who downloaded the first lead magnet, and healthy eating content to those who downloaded the second lead magnet. Okay, so it's a little bit more segmented, if that makes sense. So when it comes to segmenting your list, your goal is to make your emails as relevant to the reader as possible. And the more relevant an email to the reader, then the more likely it is that they're going to read it and they're going to respond accordingly. Okay, and we've covered a lot of ground in this workshop. Okay, we talked about getting into the mind of your prospect. We talked about how to craft the perfect subject line, creating compelling body copy, personalizing your emails. And one of the great temptations with email is to do things too fast, to simply bang out your email without giving it much thought. And while this certainly, it allows you to send out more emails, it doesn't allow you to send effective emails, okay? Effective emails take time. They take work, they take thought, they take creativity. And you need to get inside the head of your readers so that way you know what really matters to them. Okay, you need to carefully think about your subject line to make it as compelling as possible. You need to create or to craft compelling body copy so that way the reader wants to go through the entire email, right, step by step. And you need to personalize your email so that way they're relevant to the reader. If you don't do these things, your emails are probably going to achieve mediocre results at best. Your open rates will be very low, and your click-through rates, your CTR, right, which is when if you have a link or anything they have to click in, those are going to be low and your readers won't be inclined to take much action. If on the other hand, you thoroughly follow the steps that I mentioned today, then you can achieve like email marketing greatness. You can have a power, like you can build your list. It can be super powerful. So don't wait any longer. Start crafting emails that get results today. All righty, squad. We went over a lot of stuff. A lot of great information today. What I would love to know first is, what is one of your takeaways from everything that we went over? If you can think about like one thing where you're like, man, that really made sense, or I just picked up this little nugget. What is it? If you can type it in the chat for me, please. One thing you're going to start to implement now. And I know some of you haven't got, started working with the CRM or anything yet. Perfectly cool. You're gonna, as you grow and build your business, you're gonna want to have that. Let's see what we have here in the chat. So you're talking about how one that I kept using, Cindy. All right, let's see, team. What is one takeaway? What is MailerLite? I like the idea of splitting the messaging based on individual interests. Yes, the importance of the subject line. I love it. Yes, super important. Super, super important. Go ahead and keep typing them in, and I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to give you guys a resource in here. Getting to the point. Yep. Good. I'm going to share this with you guys. This is going to be a swipe file that I'm going to give you guys. It's a subject line swipe file. So these are going to be 50 subject lines that you can use to get more clicks and opens in your emails. And if you really want to get creative, obviously you can mix and match these bad boys. Remember how I talked about the questions? I got them broken down here. The 7 question headlines, the how-tos, I have them all broken down in here, and you can literally mix and match, and this will skyrocket your open rates. We have the announcement, okay? We have the curiosity. So have you seen this? Don't, open this email unless. And then there's scarcity, right? We talked about the scarcity, the numbered list, and the surprise. So I'm going to give this to you guys. I'll give it to Tarek, and then Tarek can share it with you guys if you want. Was I sharing my screen? Did you guys see all that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So Tarek, I will, hold on, let me get this here. Boom.
Fantastic stuff. Again, really pragmatic and to the point. So I think it's like anything, the fundamentals really, really matter. And there's some good thoughts here and reflections from those who have added comments. Obviously, segmenting, niching, you've talked about that a lot, is very important. But I think it's like, as you said, what is the one thing that they can take away and implement right away, rather than get carried away with the next thing, and I think the fundamentals are so important. You didn't touch much on frequency. I suppose that's probably another matter of discussion. How frequently do we send out copy, and how long, the length of it, etc.
Yeah, we can definitely touch up on frequency in here. And also one more thing real quick, I just wanted to share, and then I will dive in that, is I also created a checklist here for you. So you can go through and it literally goes over all the main touch points. So I will give you guys this as well. As far as frequency, there's a few kind of trains of thought on this. Some people like to email their list every single day. I think that's overkill. If somebody's emailing me every single day, I'm kind of like, I love you, but I got to get off this list. And you don't want people to be unsubscribing. So I would suggest if you can email somebody between, 2 to 3 times a week, so you stay top of mind, is going to be perfect. Okay. And one thing I would like to add is we didn't have the time to get into what's called a super signature. But a super signature is something that you can put at the body of your emails. If you don't really feel comfortable yet, like having a compelling call to action in your emails, what you do is you build it inside the super signature. And so you basically give, great information, nutrition tips that will help you lose weight, and then finally you'll say your name. And then here's the kicker. You say, P.S. Whenever you're ready, here's 3 ways I can help you, or 2 ways I can help you, whatever it is. And then what's the main result that they want? So let's just say it's weight loss, right? Here's 3 ways I can help you lose more weight faster, right? 1, and then you can talk about, if you have another lead magnet or download, hey, reply back, weight loss in the subject line, and I'll shoot you over my free ebook that goes over the 10 ways to lose body fat faster, right? 2 is join my my weight loss community where, I help women or whoever it is lose weight without restricted dieting or having to give up, wine and chocolate on the weekends. 3, you can have your call to action to book a call with you. If you would like to get a, free personalized game plan, feel free to book a call with me here, and we can go over next steps and a strategy to help you get your next 20 pounds off, right? So you can put a super signature in the PS portion of your emails, super effective. Then you can just give value in all your emails and not have to worry about plugging a CTA in there. So that's one thing that you can use, okay? And like I said, frequency, like if you can do like 2 to 3 times a week, that's kind of like what I prefer to do. Some coaches go every single, and this is for your new leads, which I'm talking about. Some people go more. You can go more if you want. It just completely is relevant, up to you. As far as your former clients, here's something that you can do is you can build out inside your autoresponder. If you have a CRM, you can have it where every single month it just sends a quick little email like a check-in. And it's basically like, you can, send the other stuff too, but hey, first name, just wanted to check up on you, how you been? And it's literally just to get them to respond, things have been okay. I did end up gaining weight since we stopped, working out together. Like, I got to come back soon. And literally, if you just program that to go out to your former clients once a month, you will get really good responses because you're not overwhelming them, but you're still staying in touch. How many of you guys do that? How many of you guys keep up with your former clients on a regular basis? No? Okay. That's gonna be an easy thing that you can do, and you don't even have to like put much effort into your emails with that. Okay, and then you can have other emails that are more informational for your current clients, like if you're working them on different habits, like, hey, this week we're going to work on sleep, and then you can give them like 1 or 2 emails on some different things that they can do for sleep. This week we're going to work on protein intake, and then you can break it down that way. And then your new leads would be obviously informational about helping them with whatever they're looking for. Does that make sense, squad?
Brilliant. Well,
amazing.
Amazing as always, and very kind and generous. I know that there's a lot of tactics here, and they're great, and I'm sure they'll be able to get some great results. However, we're working closely at FTI with Tobias and his programs. So what I'll do is there will be a post email with the links to the downloads. I know that you sent them as Dropbox links, so I'll add that as well as the 2-piece recording. So apologies about that. In a post email, so you'll have the recording of this session, as well as the templates, and then a link to find out more about what Tobias does as well from the online coaching perspective. So did you want to just maybe, in a 60-second summary, kind of just give a rundown on your program?
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of coaches obviously realize, especially during COVID, that you definitely want to have an online component to your business. I know a lot of you don't want to ever give up like your in-person training, but to have that extra online component where you can coach people from all over the world, the type of dream clients that you want to do work with, right? And you can work from anywhere in the world. You just bring your laptop. You have, location freedom. You have the time freedom to work on your own hours. And online, you can really do well financially. You can make a lot of money. So if you're curious as to what that looks like and how to make that work, I've actually partnered with Tarek, and I have what's called an online accelerator program. It's a 6-week program designed to help you get your first clients, build out your, all of your lead gen systems, and start enrolling clients. And you guys all, as part of FTI, get 10% off as well. So you guys all get a discount on my training programs. So if that's something that you're interested in, Tarek has a link for you. Would love to work with you guys on a more intimate basis to help you grow and build your online. And hey, maybe some of you want to go full-time online. Maybe some of you just want to have it as, making an extra, $3,000 to $5,000 a month on top of what you're already making, perfectly cool. I'm here to help. I'm not here to sell you anything, but if you do want that, I'm here to help as well. So appreciate you.
Thank you, Tobias. So I've put my email address here for those who want to reach out to me more about that, and I could just sort of get in touch with each of you. So yeah, we're not pushy here, but I thought it'd be privy because some of you have already heard of Tobias to know what we're doing together. In addition to these webinars that we freely give and we love doing. So that will be in the post email as well. So please get in touch with me regarding extra work with Tobias. I know he's working with lots of folk and doing some wonderful work with them. So again, thank you, Tobias. And for those who tuned in, thanks for tuning in for the whole hour. You guys have been terrific. And Tobias, again, really appreciate your efforts, and we'll look forward to some more work with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, Tarek. Yes, and you're close by. You're here in California. We'd love to connect with you sometime, and everybody else as well. Thanks so much for tuning in. Stay until the very end. And if you need any other email sequences, I have some extra templates for you guys too that I can get you. Reach out to Tarek, and I'll give them to him, and he can kick them your way as well.
And blessings, everyone, and keep well.
Awesome. Thanks, squad.